I do have a presentation today, but this will all go out the window if I'm not answering your questions. So I like this more intimate setting so that whatever questions you have, some of which I'm going to ask, I want to make this as interactive as possible. Most of you probably came from work or several hours of work today, so I just want to make sure that I'm providing value today. So, party favors. What can I tell you today that you can bring home with you? Anything? Yes.
You would call it out. All right.
Yeah, just call it
I
out.
love that you're saying this because speed of seminars usually don't say this. That's
Okay.
why I come in and listen to stuff. Instagram. So figure out some crazy way to get 8,000 people. If I can find the most succinct, solid game plan for generating leads, emails, we run email marketing primarily.
Yeah.
Getting opt-ins from Instagram. We're doing some like image stuff. If you have any semblance of strategy or habit, that'd be gold.
Okay.
Well, more
Instagram.
than worth a guess. Yeah.
Good. What else? What do you want to take home with you?
How do I find clients on Twitter? So we talk about tweeting, but we don't tweet, and I'd love to know how we would effectively tweet to actually get customers.
Okay.
And LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. What about LinkedIn?
How to effectively use it without getting onslaughted with lots of things that have nothing. You know, people are always trying to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is only useful if you get the right audience.
Perfect. Okay. Anything else?
Strategies for B2B versus consumer, are they significantly different or the same drill?
Absolutely, great one. Okay, all right, it's a good start at least. All right, good. Perfect. So I will craft my presentation as best I can based around those and other questions that you have throughout. So this is a quote from a marketing keynote speaker, someone very well known. Focus on how to be social, not on how to do social. Your businesses your brands don't mean anything without you right now. I mean, it's all about you. The brand comes sort of second based on what you do and who you are and the service or product that you provide. So it's not how to do social, how to log on to Twitter and then 5 hours later come off of Twitter. It's we're all social beings. That's what we do. We interact with people. We collaborate. What you do is important and people need to know that. So there's a way to use social effectively that really highlights what you do, why you do it, what business you provide. Social media is a channel for you to do that effectively. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So now you want me to blog. I just learned that it's called Facebook instead of my face. Is there anyone in this room? Feel free. Is there anyone in this room who feels that way? Or are you all social media experts and I should just leave the room now?
No.
Okay. All right, so at least we're on the same page. That's good. Okay, so let me just make sure I'm on track here. So, as I said, we're all social beings. We get it. There are strategies that you can use to be effective with your business and not feel overwhelmed at the end of the day. The ultimate goal of social media, which you may or may not know, is actually to drive people to your website. So social media is sort of a secondary channel to drive people and to drive visitors to your website, to check out who you are, what you do, and how you can be of service. So the fact of the matter is, whether we like it or not, customers are looking for you online. They're looking for your service or their product. And the question is, are they finding you? So that's something to really think about. If they're not finding you, if they're not finding your website or your social media page, they're finding your competition who is online. So really think about that. And I'll show you ways to figure out if you're getting found online. A great place to start is to just Google your brand. Google the name of your company and Google your name if you haven't already. It's a great place to start to see what people could be potentially finding on search engines. And if you aren't sharing your expertise and what you can provide to someone, your competition is at the end of the day. And two, social media is not just a great way to find leads and to build your brand, but it gives you a little bit extra credibility. People who have Facebooks with 10,000 likes, there's something credible about that. They've shared their expertise, they've shared their product or service, they've given something of value to someone else, and the response online has been positive. So there's a lot of lost opportunity if you're not on social media.
But if you're sharing that all online, how do you get paid for sharing that?
how you get paid for sharing your expertise. That's exactly what I'm talking about, and I will provide examples too. So
Okay.
we'll hold off, but that's coming. So 72% of CEOs are implementing social media to improve response to market needs. This number is growing. This is from a study from KPMG, which is a huge consulting firm if you haven't heard about it already. So the number is growing in terms of the CEOs and the C-level executives who are on social and are implementing social as a company-wide strategy in order to better their business. So here's going back to what we actually just talked about is you are your brand. It starts really with you. So personalize it, make it your own. From what I gather, and please tell me if I'm wrong, most of you are entrepreneurs or have had business for a couple of years or several years, albeit small, and are looking for new ways to provide value and to grow the number of leads and the number of consumers in your database. But social today is as much about the individual as it is about the brand. It starts with you. And you're in this business, whatever business it is, because you have something to provide. You get passionate at the start of your morning and can't wait to go to work for whatever reason. But there's something in you that you get excited about. And social provides a way for you to share that and to help people feed off your enthusiasm. So really think about that. And the way you treat your customers these days is what will be transparent on Yelp reviews. That's really the long and the short of it. So a huge part of social media now is customer service, because today, as you may or may not know or realize, you don't have as much control over what people are saying about you anymore. At one point we did through very crafted advertising. But now, the way that you treat your customers or your potential customers, that's going to show up on a Yelp review. That's going to show up maybe on your Facebook page or through word of mouth. So you really have to think about what you're saying and how you're treating your networks, because it could be found online. So, the real question here, how do you go about doing that? Choose which social media sites you're comfortable with. 2 years ago, when I graduated from college, I tried to get a marketing job in Boston in 2009, actually, so more than 2 years, which was really stupid because there were hardly no opportunities. But I did realize, going through networking events, that people knew about social, but they couldn't really wrap their head around it. They knew they had to be online, but they didn't have the time, they didn't have the manpower, and the concept was still really new. And I think we've come really far in social media, but a lot of us still have that same sort of mentality. And I think that's what is something similar to what you're feeling today. So I want to be a resource for you for that. And what I really want to highlight today is having a goal for social media. It really starts with, it could start with 5 minutes a day. Okay, I want to have a Facebook page. All right, well, how do I do that? We'll talk about that. I want to get on LinkedIn. I'm sick of people linking in with me that I don't know. How can I monitor that? Or what the heck is Twitter? I just don't get why people have to tweet what they had for breakfast in the morning. But there are so many opportunities, again, which I'll talk to you about finding leads on social media and really building your brand so that it's credible and that people are finding you and really getting excited about what you get excited about. So it can start simple. Don't overdo it. Quality is better than quantity in any event with social media. And it is a marketing ploy, and we'll talk about this, but it's really, again, what you have to say to your customers and why they should get excited about working for you. So quality over quantity for sure. And keep your message consistent. What do you do and why are you good at it? Keep it simple and keep it professional. So before I go on too, I want to sort of get to know you guys a little bit more in some of your businesses. So talk to me about what you do. How many people are in your organization?
Okay, cool. So we run a brick and mortar martial arts academy down in Rhode Island, but what I'm focusing on now is more of our smaller online business. So I have a full-time guy, a couple part-time guys, and we market to an email list in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game. So we have fan pages, we have blogs that we're on, and we sell to a niche of that niche. So the people who like leg locks or the little specific techniques in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So it's all about driving traffic to the email list, having good front-end offers, being able to build good launches, and driving towards continuity programs or different high-end programs, being able to show enough value to get people to believe that our instructions are going to be worthy for their development.
Okay. Okay. All right, good. I'm going to use that, I think.
Cool.
What about you? Talk to me about your business.
Okay, my name is Heather DeSocio. I'm actually here on behalf of my husband, Jeffrey. So when you walked in and told me what it was for, I actually didn't know that, so it sounds like we knew social media. What he actually does is he's kind of a social media guru. He has a day job. He's in IT, so that's kind of his, field. But he's looking to start his own business through shop.com. It's a online shopping website where you can buy our own products. I'm part of it too. And also it's connected to other stores, kind of mall without walls type of thing.
Okay.
He puts in a lot of time after work social media. He's not, if he's not in bed by midnight, like, where are you? He's online doing that. But you've already hit some key points about the quality over quantity. But saying, working with, say 5 great customers is better than he's trying to reach out to all these other,
Sure.
people that are maybe potential colds.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go over all the notes with him. I don't know much about social media, just bits and pieces, like you were saying, Twitter, versus Facebook and how to reach people. So I'm going to try and sponge in as much information as I can.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Good.
thank
Notes.
you.
Okay, good. I'll be happy to help after too. Okay. What about you? Why are you here?
Hi, my name is Will. I work for an asset management firm, GL Capital. Our online presence is pretty poor, to say the least. I mean, we're a significant company. We have over 300 employees. So I've taken it upon myself to promote myself online and
Great.
hope to position myself as a thought leader and build my network and also expand my client base, through various social media outlets, whether it be LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, just to name a few. So
Great.
I'm really looking, one, to drive leads to my business and really position myself as a thought leader.
Good. Okay. And you had a key point too about sort of why we need to be on social, and going back to the quality versus quantity, and really showcasing what we do and what we get excited about for our day jobs is being a thought leader in our industry. That is the ultimate lead generator in a lot of ways, because what's going to make someone come to you versus someone else when you hold the same job title at a similar asset management firm?
Sure.
But maybe you're posting industry relevant content about what you're seeing at Forbes or the Wall Street Journal or from Business Insider about, and really engaging with your audience on LinkedIn and saying, well, what do you guys think about this? Or can you believe that this just happened in California? How does it relate to New England in terms of our business? So being a thought leader in your industry and staying up to date with relevant trends and sharing that content doesn't even have to be your content. It could be something that you get from Boston.com. But taking an industry-specific article and giving it to 2 people that you know in your network and saying, I came across this article, it's a great read, I wanted to share it with you because of what I know you do in your business. Well, you could be sending that to a potential customer, and now you've positioned yourself as someone who knows what they're talking about. You clearly showing your credibility of being in that industry. You start to build a relationship, and you start to build trust to that potential customer that you know what you're doing, you're not going to screw them, right? And you wanted to share industry news to help them better their business. And we're going to talk about how social shakes hands with sales and sales shakes hands with social. So that's a good tie-in. Okay, good. So again, keeping your message consistent. What do you do, and what are you good at? Keeping it simple, keeping it professional, starting with 5 minutes a day on Twitter and tweeting one thing a day, for example, is all it really takes to get started. And we'll talk about roadblocks too, as well. Okay, so we're good with the start to the how. So regardless if you're in marketing, if you're in sales, if you're the CEO of your own company, if you're here on behalf of someone else, the bottom line is you need to know your audience inside and out. And is that pretty much standard? We already know that, right? So my suggestion is, I mean, use this term lightly, please. In order to find leads and to be successful on social, you need to know where your audience is talking online. Is it LinkedIn and not Twitter? Is it Instagram? If it's, I know a company in the Seaport District in Boston, they build, it's a former NASA engineer, and he took this giant, he made a giant robot, basically, and it builds custom mosaics. It's the coolest thing ever. You can upload your picture, and the robot will create a custom mosaic for you. That would be a great business to use Instagram with because of all the mosaics that you can create. It's very artsy, that kind of thing. But maybe someone in asset management, Instagram may not be the best resource for you. Or you can get really creative, and it may one day. But maybe your audience that you want to target is actually on LinkedIn instead. So it's a great place to start. And I'm going to show you how to figure out where your audience is. I'll give you some examples. So let's actually go into that. I'm going to pull up Twitter. And regardless of how familiar you are with Twitter, this is okay because the concept is the same. You could search on LinkedIn for similar things, but I'm just going to use Twitter as an example. So I'm in Twitter. They're New Gen Consultants. This is just what a homepage looks like if you're unfamiliar. But there's a search bar. So let's do, I'm going to use your example of the Martial Arts Academy. Is that okay? Okay. So again, this is concept. The same could apply to LinkedIn or a search bar on Facebook or even in Google, but we're going to use Twitter. So I'm going to type in martial arts because that makes sense. It's a keyword that you would probably use to search elsewhere. And I'm just going to see what comes up. And this is to help evaluate whether there's an audience at all on Twitter. So before I even press enter, right, to see the results, there are a ton of Twitter handles, they call them, their profiles, of people who are tweeting about mixed martial arts of some type or fitness. So I'm going to leave those alone, but this is really helpful. This is helping us get started. So I'm just going to press enter to see what the search results look like. Are there tweets being about martial arts, or is it totally stagnant? So you may get a lot of junk too, just to preface this, right? But let's see if there's anything good. The poetry of Bruce Lee, discover the artistic life of martial arts icon. That's pretty legit. That could be something that you could retweet or share with your audience. I'm at Praying Mantis Martial Arts Institute, Mixed Martial Arts Forum. You could check out that to see if that's something, if it's an event or something that maybe you want to get yourself to. How to spot a toxic martial arts club environment. People new to martial arts might not be realizing how blah blah blah. What a boring day. I got into 3 random martial arts style street fights. Okay, so maybe not the best. But if you look over here, 1 hour, 2 hours ago, these people have tweeted, and there's a lot here. This is just 4 hours ago. If you keep scrolling down, this is from yesterday. Here's some awesome pictures. Here are your hashtags. And they're relevant. So this is just in the last 24 hours, and then it goes back a little bit further. So, okay, and then we don't want to see that. So, so there's a lot of tweets here, and it's going to keep going back, and it's going to keep populating more. So this is an example if you're just getting going with Twitter or any other social media platform, that there's a lot of information here that may be helpful for your audience to know. Or even if they don't care about this, you should know about it for your personal brand, and you know, maybe there's an event here that you should be at. Sharing this information with other people, either internally with your employees or your network, is super helpful. It helps you build that credibility that you know what you're talking about, that you keep up to date with current trends, and that you're on social. It gives you that credibility. Okay? I'll just do one more example, and I'll do it on LinkedIn. There's a couple ways to go about this, but what I want to do is, and we'll talk about this too, just digress for a second too, social media Twitter's not the same as Facebook, is not the same as LinkedIn, is not the same as Pinterest. I don't suggest getting on all platforms. I think it's just going to boggle anyone's mind to be on all 5 at once and try to make sense of it. That's why I say start with one. But it's going back to your audience, and is your audience online? LinkedIn is it's a more of a professional network. There's no one tweeting about what you had for breakfast this morning. It's a little bit more about building your professional network, finding jobs, expanding your network. But to see if your industry or the content that is important in your industry is online, you can actually go to, I would suggest, groups. Has anyone used LinkedIn groups before? Are you familiar with it? Yeah. When you use LinkedIn groups, like, do you just browse or do you post comments? Like, what's been your interaction with it? Do you just like to see what groups come up?
No, I belong to groups and I get emails from
Okay.
groups that are probably mostly relevant to my business.
Okay.
And, sometimes I'll retweet them or, sometimes I'll just, go in trash, but.
Sure. So the emails that you get, because if you are a part of groups, LinkedIn will send you a note about
that's
the
what
updates.
happens, right.
Yeah, okay.
And there's about, 40 or 50 biotech groups that you
Okay.
can belong to of every kind of flavor, and you have to pick and choose so that you don't have your inbox
Yeah.
just filled with everybody chattering away about this, that, or the other. The other thing with LinkedIn, they post articles,
Yeah.
people in your group, in your field, that is part of LinkedIn is like first layer, second layer, third layer kind of thing. And that's just for the free service.
Yeah. That makes
And that's
sense.
what I do as opposed to paying them $30 a month.
Sure. Okay, so to answer both of your questions too, you may want to reconsider the groups that you're a part of. Again, and I can show you real quick, not to digress from your point.
No,
There's just a
right
lot here, right? Going into my profile, again, when you're deciding what groups to go to, it's a quality over quantity thing again. I do not recommend being a part of 40 groups. It's just going to overwhelm you, right? Even if you're a part of 3 to 5 that are specifically relevant to what you do and the industry that you're in, it's highly more effective. So if you scroll down in your profile is usually where your groups are located. And I would reconsider them. I would go back in and look at them. I'm a part of Social Hire, so just go back in and see if it's really a group you want to be a part of, because it may be bombarding you, and I can talk to you after about how exactly to do that.
Yeah, I put quite a few of them to sleep.
What did you say?
I put quite a few
I
of them
belong
to
to
sleep.
quite a few.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
but
will
I
put them to
Probably in
sleep
the
too.
30, 40.
Okay.
Right, but
And
I
it's-
don't listen to all of them. I will
Okay.
basically say I want a comment from them once every 6 months or something.
Okay. Yeah, so you can go in and set your settings, and I can talk about that individually with people later on. But yeah, I would go back in because, and I know LinkedIn will sort of say, you haven't visited this group in a while. Do you want to, what do you want to do, basically? But it sounds like if 30, 40 groups, it gets a little bit more like spam than it is effective.
It starts filling up your inbox real quick.
And it's hard to qualify which articles or which discussions you actually want to look at and which ones you kind of just want to fall by the wayside. Yeah.
Sure.
So great point. Now, let's go back to my initial point in terms of if your audience is online or not. Obviously, there's a lot of content for you guys in particular that may be a red flag that obviously your audience is online and there's a lot that you can do with it. But let's go back just to be consistent with the martial arts. So groups is a great way to get involved with people that have similar interests to you, whether it's your day job or a hobby or anything in between. So I'm just going to, again, when you're searching, make sure that if you are searching for a person, it's on people. If you are searching for jobs, it's on jobs. So just make sure you click the drop down. So we're in groups, and I'm just, again, going to type in martial arts. Let's just see if anything comes up. So martial arts black belt group has over 5,000 members. Korean martial arts professionals, mixed martial arts industry. And these are pretty solid. These are over 1,000, 2,000 groups, which again is pretty credible. Anything over 500 to 1,000 members, it's a pretty credible group. I would suggest you using that as sort of a qualifier. And go in and check it out. So it looks like there is an audience here, potentially.
You got me up there too, look at that.
Which one? Oh, there you go, yeah, nice.
What do you know?
That's great. So I'm going to go on this one.
Dominating.
That's smart.
I like to hear that, yeah.
Yes.
So now you can see this is where they'll have sort of the description of the group and group members in your network. And I know this may be familiar to some, but for those who are new to this, it's super helpful because you can say, oh, I know him, or oh, I know Steve. I wonder what he's doing in this group. They have a website available. The managers, in case you want to get a hold of them and ask specific questions, maybe you want to say, I'm holding an event next month. Can you help me post it on this group, for example? So again, this is and I'm somewhat surprised too. There's LinkedIn groups are growing every day, but it sounds like there's an audience here for your business as well. So those are just two examples of how to figure out if your audience is online, if there's something that we can work with here. Okay, so let's go back. Okay. So again, stalking your audience, right? Where is your audience talking online? When are they talking online? If you have a particular, say you have, I don't know, maybe your martial arts community or the people that you want to be talking to in the future, prospects of any sort, potential students, colleges or whatever. Maybe if in 1 month you say, I really want to target colleges in the Northeast to see if there's any potential. And this is just an idea, right? This is theoretical. Well, students have different schedules, right? Or maybe they have, they're in classes all day, so maybe they're online at night after work or after classes. So really think about, and I can help you with this as well, really think about sort of, is your audience, are they night people, or are they tweeting online at night? Do they have day jobs? And what, as the most important, what are they talking about online? So does that sort of make sense? Yes? Questions? Yeah.
Just real quick, what is the audience talking about? Are you supposed to link into what they're talking about?
I'm going to give you suggestions on how to talk about what they're talking about based on what your industry is, what your profession is.
Okay, and then like kind of turn it around to what you're selling?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so chocolate and breakfast are probably my two favorite things in the world. So this is why I'm using this as an example of how to maybe set up a Facebook page for your business. Or in this particular case, you can obviously have your personal Facebook account, but you can also have a professional Facebook account where you can connect with people and show them your business. And I'll tell you why this Facebook page is a great example of something to shoot for as well, okay? And again, before you obviously go on Facebook and see if there's an audience there, that's what I'm saying, is what I would look on Facebook and see if there is a niche market there, if there's something that you can offer that people are on Facebook, so they're going to be talking about X or Y or Z. So, let's see if I can scroll down here. Alright, so chocolate for breakfast. So a lot of small businesses are on Facebook. They're building their own Facebook company pages. This particular Facebook page, they won the top 10 small business Facebook pages in 2012 from a very highly respected social media site. They had over 1,800 nominations and over 500 small businesses applied. So they're doing something right? So the judges on this particular page, they really liked the engagement and the pictures to start. And it's colorful. Everyone loves chocolate, of course, but this is very appealing. They've got some bright colors here. If you scroll, There's a lot of engagement. People are posting on their wall. We are kindred spirits. Chocolate is my favorite first love. Good morning. This one showed a recipe for raw vegan brownies. Having a beer party on my page today. Check it out. And there's this concept of not just chocolate. They're not just selling chocolate. They're selling an experience of eating chocolate. They're talking about indulging in something that you can eat every day, or maybe something special on a birthday occasion. So there's a lot of engagement here. There's pictures. I mean, who doesn't want to eat that, honestly? It shows people commenting on their pictures as well. They've put up videos. It's very visually attractive. People post recipes. They post quotes even. So this is something that I would shoot for. And you can get really creative if you don't have a chocolate business. If you have an electrical business, you can get really creative. And I'll dive deeper into that too. So that's just one example of how to do Facebook right. Okay, so let's talk about blogging. I think that one's next, right? Hold on. Where did this one go? I'm just gonna start up again. So, do any of you have a blog for your business? Yes? So talk to me about sort of what your experiences have been with blogging. How often do you blog? What do you blog about?
We blog every couple days, and we blog about stuff relevant in the martial arts industry, whether it's tournaments that just happened. We try to keep it situationally relevant, but sometimes it's just match breakdowns from stuff in the past or something. But we're also on 10 other industry blogs, and we use kind of the boilerplate, some internal blog links to kind of drive some stuff back to our stuff. So we post regularly. Again, we try to make it relevant to that day. Sometimes with future posts, we're not going to be able to write that much in the next 2 weeks.
Sure.
Write the next 2 weeks post. You know, I don't know if that's like a Google sin or something, but I do it. I do it all the time. And I don't know what a Google sin is anymore. And then yeah, we leverage other people's pages similarly. We try to post at least twice a week, something relatively, pointing to that week. But if nothing else, something we think people will be excited to read. That's really all.
Okay. What about anyone else? Have you thought about running a blog? Are you concerned if you should?
I want to start a blog, and I'm like right there, about to start a blog, and dipping my toe in the pond, trying to figure out exactly how to do it.
Okay.
And,
good, I can help you with that.
right.
What would you blog about? What will you blog about?
I will blog about retirement planning, financial advice, college planning.
Awesome.
Anything that has to do with saving money for your life.
Great. Okay. So there's a lot of content there. There's a lot of opportunity there.
But I'd like to make it unique.
Sure, absolutely. And it has to be your own voice. But that's what's great about blogging, is that it is your own voice. Unless you can outsource people to blog for you. But in a lot of ways, I actually advise against that, because there's a lot of potential for people to hear you and what you have to say. And blogging gives a lot of that autonomy, which is really, really important for your personal brand, independent from the company you work for. And there's a lot of content there. And blogging, if you blog once a month, if you blog once a week, about saving for college, retirement, whatever the situation is, basically advising someone where they can find your blog online and be, oh, he has a really interesting perspective, or I want to get in touch with him, I want to learn more. That's really how it happens. It's as simple as that. And it's a great tie-in, because these two fine gentlemen will be talking about SEO a little bit later on. So in terms of making sure that your blog is getting found and picked up by Google and other search engines. But that's a great place to start. I highly encourage it. I can certainly help you with getting started, of course, and figuring out what site to use to blog and what you think you should blog about and all those logistics. But you can build a lot of credibility on who you are by blogging, and it can be fun for you too. All right, good. So I'll give you some statistics about blogging, because it can be a big undertaking, but at the same time there's a lot of advantages to it too. think it just times out after a certain. Sorry about that. Oh, come on. Okay, so that is all going good.
How would you rate the importance of blogging versus other types of content? White papers, case studies, tip sheets, things that you might send out or have on your website that people can download?
That's a great question, and Kevin may or may not talk about that. From my perspective, I would rate it number one above others, and they'll talk to you about that too. But again, going back to blogging, as it's, if you do it right, there's no limit to who can see it.
Right.
Versus a white paper that you can put as a PDF and attach it to an email.
Right.
But people don't read emails as much as they read online. So it goes back to your audience, but in terms of case studies, collateral, I would rate blogging number one if it's done correctly. All right, so I'm wondering if there's an easy way to just
Just use the arrows at the bottom, actually.
what do you say?
Just use those arrows, bottom left.
This
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
I'll go faster, right?
Yeah.
But that's a great question, and I think that you wouldn't have heard the same response 2 years ago. But there's so much content, and what I want to talk about too is it can become overwhelming to a lot of us. So how do you sift through all that content? How do you sift through 34 different LinkedIn groups and figure out what is important to share and to read, independent from just going on the Wall Street Journal website or Boston Globe, for example, and reading something there.
Sure.
So companies that blog get 55% more traffic to their website and 70% more leads than those who don't blog. It's a pretty powerful statistic. This is coming from one of the largest marketing website agencies in the Northeast, HubSpot. So it is a pretty powerful statistic, and it's another way that blogging itself can drive people to your website or to get in touch with you even. I'm going to show you an example of a blog that's done really well that attracts a big audience, regardless of what your business is. So this is, make sure here. So this is a blog, actually Sweet Green, I believe it's actually a restaurant. But it's an organic restaurant, and they don't just serve food, but they have a certain philosophy about them. They use organic products. They have a huge sort of philanthropic initiative where they're involved in environmental sustainability. So here's an example where an everyday restaurant has turned into a brand, and they've done a lot of that through blogging. This particular restaurant, again, uses organic food, so they put a lot of recipes on their blog. They give some pretty pictures that look appetizing. Here is what's called an infographic. It's basically a huge picture with statistics about hibiscus around the world. So they've really gotten creative. Again, building a brand from just a restaurant and really highlighting who they are and the initiatives that they're passionate about. That's something that you can do with a blog as well. All right, good.
Should you keep a blog, like in my instance, I think keep coming back to myself,
No, it's fine, it's
strictly business related? You know, like I love hockey, and I spend tons of time playing hockey and coaching my kids hockey, and
Nice.
so that's a big part of my life. Should I integrate that into my blog, or?
If you want to, I would.
Yeah.
And going back to your brand, the brands that work really well are not just brands, they have people attached to them. And the brands that work really well provide a personal experience to their customer. And the brands that work well are on social, and they provide this level of transparency, which a lot of us can be uncomfortable with at times too. Apple provides an experience of walking into the Apple store and having these really smart techie guys deal with your Apple, your Mac problems. But there's an experience when you walk in the door, and Apple has really taken that and put it into commercials, and they've really personalized their brand. And so going back to your point, if you love hockey and you feel comfortable sharing it with a large audience, go for it. You never know who's going to read your blog, of course, so you always have to think about that. But maybe there's a way that you can incorporate hockey into your asset management blog. If you want to retire early, talking about some best practices to do that so that you can play hockey. And if you want to throw a picture up there of you and your boys playing hockey, or a rink that you used to go to when you were younger, or whatever the situation may be, that personalizes things. And it's more likely that your readership is going to resonate and continue reading and going back to your blog. It's that personal touch that's really important. A lot of us really are not okay with that yet, and that's fine. But the brands that do really well on social have that sort of, they're not just selling a product or a service, they're providing an experience.
I have a question. How do you get people to read your blog? Because there are thousands of them out there, and I have a friend who's got a blog and it's read by 2 people.
Sure. Okay, so one, if you're comfortable on LinkedIn, you can post it on LinkedIn based on a network who will see it when you post it on LinkedIn. Kevin and Brian will talk about other ways that you can make your blog get found by more people. I would start with your network. Honestly, send them an email, call them up, talk to them in person and say, hey, I'm kind of dipping my toe into this blog. I've got a couple of things going, but do you mind reading it? Tell me what you think. And if it's good, if they have suggestions, it's really starting with your network. And you never know who one of your friends down the street is going to share it with someone they know. That's the brilliance of social. It's really, social has what I really want to say is your network itself, the way you communicate is different, but the concept is the same, really. It's your network and sharing what you love with your network and having them share it. The same thing is happening online, but the concept is really the same. So that's a great question. All right, how are we doing? We're good? Haven't lost anyone yet?
No.
Okay. Yes.
5-minute warning.
You are totally joking.
Unfortunately not, but I have an idea for the end.
All right,
don't worry.
that's fine. We're really fine, actually. I don't. Okay, we can talk about this for a second too. So, social finds its way into marketing. That may be more obvious, but social is finding its way into sales. It's again, sales. Obviously, I'm preaching to the choir when I say it's about trusted relationships and building trusted relationships. So the essence of sales hasn't really changed, but the methodology of the way we go about doing sales has changed, and we can use social again to find leads and to communicate with people. So I'm going to show you when you get really advantageous with social. Something that you can do that's highly effective, and all you need is a small flip camera, is to create a how-to video. And you can do that with Martial Arts Academy. You can, first steps of jiu-jitsu or whatever it is. This is how to pop open a Sabre champagne bottle. And this is from a really, really small company. I don't know if the volume's going to work. I'm not sure how it's going to work. Okay. Anyways, the essence of this is the same. He just goes through, it's a 5-minute video showing how to saber a champagne bottle, but the same is true for any of your business. Yours might be a little bit different, but that you can talk in front of the camera, have someone talk in front of the camera and say, these are the first 3 steps of going about saving for retirement. Or maybe there's something along the lines that's a little bit more broad of a reach that you can do. But this is just, there you go, that's okay. This is just one example when you get really experienced with social. But again, it goes back to how you all have expertise in your field. All you have to do is share it. And there are several ways to go about it. So Brian, what's your idea?
So, I take it everyone is enjoying the content and really likes to learn more about social media. What I'm proposing, if Ashley is down for this, is I would love to put together, using social, an actual Google Hangout, so you can all tune in from the comfort of your own home, and Ashley can continue and provide even more content
Oh, that would.
based on the questions that you guys have asked and based on other insights that she's received tonight.
Yeah, that's
You down
perfect.
for Google Hangout?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will take the responsibility of organizing it with everyone who's been here.
The big thing is with this, is you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
So I'm listening, I'm going, there are questions I have that I don't even know to ask.
Yep.
So that's where I'm heading with this, because I'm really cool doing this stuff, I like doing this stuff, but somehow there's something there I'm not getting.
Sure. It's at the end of the day, there's so much content and there's so much opportunity with social, but as you can see, there's so much I want to talk about with you. So there's a lot of opportunity. Let's make sure that you know what you don't know right now. I'm here to help. I consider myself pretty proficient in this, and I want to help in any way I can, regardless of what your goals are. And if you don't get anything else from this presentation, have a goal for social. Have a goal.
By show of hands, who wants to be on the Google Hangout? Okay, awesome. I have everyone's email address.